The cabin went silent the instant the flight attendant's hand struck the black man standing beside the first-class aisle. She thought he was an arrogant stowaway who had slipped onto a private jet. Why did no one stop her? Why did the senior crew hide their eyes when he calmly asked for the passenger manifest? And why did the operations manager turn pale when the man finally reached into his coat and placed one small black card on the table? 10 minutes later, every member of that crew would be ordered off the aircraft. But the reason went far deeper than one slap. Stay until the end, because the truth behind that flight changed an entire company. At 4:31 p.m., the silver second hand on Marcus Reed's wrist kept moving. No one else did. Rain tapped the jet's oval windows. The cabin smelled of polished leather, burnt coffee, and citrus cleaner. Vanessa Hale lowered her hand slowly. Then her face hardened. "Call terminal security." Caleb Wynn blinked. "Right now?" "Right now." Marcus did not touch his cheek. He looked past Vanessa to the passenger manifest resting on the walnut table. "Do not alter that document," he said. Grant Mercer stepped between him and the table. "You don't give instructions here." "I just did." Grant turned to Mason Trent. "Report an unauthorized person on board. Aggressive behavior. Refusal to leave." Harper Sloane's fingers froze around a tray of water glasses. One clicked against another. "He wasn't aggressive," she said. Vanessa swung toward her. "What did you say?" Harper's eyes dropped. "I didn't hear everything." "You heard enough." Beyond the open cabin door, two passengers in the corridor pretended to study their phones. Mason raised his radio. "Terminal control, we have a disturbance aboard Flight 7. "State the threat," a voice crackled back. Mason looked at Grant. "Male intruder," Grant said. "Possible contractor. Confrontational." Marcus reached inside his coat. 3 people stepped back. He removed a small black card and placed it face down on the table. Vanessa gave a short laugh. "A business card won't help you." "It is not a business card." Grant reached for it. Marcus covered the edge with 2 fingers. "Leave it where it is." The ventilation hummed overhead. Beneath the floor, a cartwheel struck a latch with a hollow clang. "Who are you?" Harper asked. Vanessa answered first. "Someone trying to intimidate a flight crew." Marcus looked at the incident form beside the manifest. 5 signatures crossed the bottom. 2 lines had been written above them in blue ink. "Hostile subject entered aircraft after access was denied." "When was this written?" he asked. "After you became disruptive," Grant replied. "The ink is dry." "Enough," Vanessa snapped. "Mason, remove him." Mason approached, but the green access light beside the cabin door still glowed. He noticed it, hesitated, then covered the panel with his palm. Marcus saw him. "So did you," he said. Mason withdrew his hand. "The system glitches." "Then preserve the log." Grant moved toward the terminal console. "There is no reason to preserve anything. That sentence is now part of the record." Grant looked up at the camera above the galley. Its red indicator was dark. Vanessa followed his eyes and relaxed. "Cameras are disabled during final preparation. There is no record." A soft vibration sounded beneath Marcus's fingers. Once, then again. Grant's face changed by less than an inch, but Harper saw it. Her tray tilted, and cold water ran across her knuckles. The radio crackled. "Flight 7, confirm the name of the person being removed." No one answered. Marcus turned his wrist. The second hand crossed 12. "Do not touch the manifest," he repeated. Behind Grant, the operations printer woke with a mechanical shudder and began feeding out one sheet. At 6:45 that morning, Marcus stood beneath the open cowling of a silver jet while cold air rolled through the hangar doors. Torque wrench. A mechanic passed it over. Board meeting in 40 minutes. I know. Owners usually watch from behind glass. Marcus tightened the fitting until the tool clicked. Metal ticked as the engine cooled. The floor smelled of oil, wet concrete, and burnt coffee. Owners forget what breaks, he said. Mechanics don't. His phone vibrated on the workbench. Simone's name appeared above a photograph of her in a pilot's uniform. You're still coming? She asked. I'll be in Atlanta before they call your class. You said that at my university ceremony. He rubbed grease from the phone case. I remember. I saved you a seat. First row. White card. Blue ink. It says, Dad. I'll be there. She waited. Mom used to say those words sounded different when you checked your watch. Marcus opened the inside pocket of his worn navy jacket. A folded note rested behind his wallet, soft at the creases. On this day, be there. No apology afterward. Just be there. The paper still carried lavender from the drawer where Lauren had kept her scarves. Mr. Reed? Elena Ruiz stood beside a yellow cleaning cart. At 56, she wore her silver hair in a long braid and moved like someone trained not to be noticed. You can call me Marcus. Not where people can hear. Her eyes shifted toward the glass offices above the hangar. What happened? Nothing they would write down correctly. That isn't an answer. It is the safest one. A cart rattled over a seam in the concrete. Marcus waited until it faded. The elite cabin team keeps lists, she said. Drivers who look wrong, cleaners who speak too much, passengers they think won't complain. Names? Stars for important, circles for difficult, a black line for people they want moved out of sight. Who keeps it? Vanessa Hale carries one copy. Grant Mercer keeps the reports. Did you file a complaint? 3. The first vanished. The second came back unsigned. After the third, my hours changed. A compressor roared near the far wall. Yesterday she sent Thomas through the cargo entrance. He has driven executives here 16 years. She said his jacket made the lobby look untidy. Marcus looked toward the terminal, pale light flashing across spotless glass. Why tell me today? Your office announced an anonymous review next month. Elena's mouth tightened. Next month gives them time to clean the paper. His watch read 6:58. He had a flight and a daughter who had learned not to trust a promise until she saw him enter the room. Which crew is on my flight? Elena stared. You're flying with them? They don't know that. You should wear the suit. Marcus returned the note to his pocket. Then I would learn how they treat a suit. A gust pushed rain beneath the hangar door. They will think you're maintenance. That is what I was. They may not let you board. Marcus set his leather bag on the cart. Then we'll learn something before takeoff. Above them, behind the glass, Grant Mercer entered the conference room carrying 5 blank incident forms. At 7:12 a.m., Grant Mercer laid 5 blank incident forms on the conference table. Sign the bottom. Caleb Wynn uncapped his pen. Before the briefing? Before anything happens, Grant said. It saves time later. The room above the hangar was too cold, and the vents lifted the paper corners. Below, mechanics moved around the silver jet. Tools rang through the floor. Harper Sloan kept her pen closed. What are we agreeing to? Vanessa Hale set a tablet beside the forms. Her burgundy uniform had no crease, and her blonde bob curved sharply against her jaw. That the senior crew's account is accurate, even if we don't see it. Vanessa smiled. You will see what matters. Mason Trent signed first. Caleb followed. 2 others added their names, then pushed the page toward Harper. Grant checked his watch. "We provide an experience, not a debate." Harper pressed the pen down. The nib squeaked. 5 signatures crossed the bottom while the description box remained empty. Vanessa opened a passenger chart. 3 confirmed principals, she said. 2 assistants, 1 investment guest. Use titles for principals and surnames for assistants. She tapped colored symbols beside the names. Caleb leaned closer. Gold stars? Priority. Blue circles ask for too much. Gray bars stay out of photographs. Mason laughed. And the black line? Move them through service access when possible. Naomi Ortiz stopped in the doorway with weather sheets against her chest, dark curls pinned with a pencil. "There are 7 boarding authorizations," she said. Grant did not turn. "There are 6 passengers." "The final entry is masked." Vanessa folded her arms. "Then it is crew-related." "No, it has an owner-level security flag." The cold lights buzzed. Grant took the sheets. "You are an operations trainee." "Yes." "Then learn the difference between missing information and information you are not entitled to have." Naomi looked at the forms. "Why are those signed?" Caleb slid a coffee cup over the top page. A brown ring spread across one corner. "Routine documentation," Vanessa said. "For an incident that hasn't happened?" Grant lowered his voice. "Do you want your temporary badge reviewed before lunch?" Naomi's thumb bent the clipboard edge. "No." "Update the storm window and clear the cabin." She returned to the desk outside. The terminal smelled of pastry and lemon polish. On her monitor, the 7th authorization showed no name, photograph, or passenger category. Only a departure code pulsed beside it. A C-001. Naomi entered the code in the directory. The screen flashed red. Restricted. Board authorization required. Behind the glass, Vanessa slipped the signed form into a burgundy folder. "Any concerns?" Grant asked. Harper stared at the coffee ring covering part of her signature. "No," she said. At 7:19, the hidden record refreshed. A green line appeared beneath the code. Access active. Identity withheld until arrival. Naomi reached for the phone, but Grant's reflection appeared along the dark edge of her screen. "Delete your search history," he said. Then, from the hangar below, Marcus Reed looked up toward the glass office. At 3:54 p.m., Marcus stepped from the shuttle into rain blowing across the terminal driveway. His navy work jacket darkened before he reached the glass doors. Inside, warm light fell across white stone and leather chairs facing the runway. Mason Trent saw him and moved first. "Service entrance is around the east side." Marcus stopped beneath the awning. "I'm boarding Flight 7. Contractors check in downstairs." "I'm not a contractor." Mason kept smiling. "Then you're at the wrong terminal." Marcus held his phone near the access panel. It chimed, and a green bar appeared. Boarding access verified. The lock clicked. Mason planted one polished shoe against the door before it opened. "That system reads maintenance credentials, too." It confirmed boarding access. "It confirms what I tell you it confirms." Rain hammered the awning. Through the glass, Vanessa directed 2 attendants while Grant spoke near the jet bridge. "I'd like your name," Marcus said. "Mason Trent, ground concierge. And your supervisor?" "You need the east entrance." A baggage cart splashed past. The driver glanced at the green panel, then kept moving. Marcus touched the screen again. The same approval returned. Mason covered it with his palm. "Stop doing that." "Doing what?" "Hiding the result." Mason's smile slipped. The door opened from inside. Elena pushed a cleaning cart toward the threshold, citrus cleaner following her into the damp air. She looked at Marcus, then at Mason's hand over the glowing panel. "Mr. Reed." Marcus met her eyes and gave the smallest shake of his head. Elena caught herself. "Sir, the East Corridor floods when it rains." Mason turned on her. "Then mop it. It's ankle-deep by the loading bay." "Not my problem." Marcus removed his wet jacket and folded it over one arm. His gray work shirt held a faint grease line at the cuff. "I'll use this door." "No." "Why?" "Passengers use this door." A couple inside looked up. The woman lowered her coffee. The man watched the green light in the glass, then turned toward the runway. Marcus waited. Mason tightened his grip on the frame. "You're delaying operations. I'm standing outside. You're causing a scene. No one is speaking loudly." The lock released again with a soft buzz. Mason glanced toward Grant, who was crossing the lobby. Elena pulled her cart aside, leaving a narrow path. Grant reached the door but did not open it. "Problem? Credential mismatch," Mason said. "He claims he's on 7. Marcus raised the phone. Grant barely looked. "Temporary staff enter through service." "Is that written policy?" "It is today." Thunder rolled over the runway. The glass trembled. Marcus slipped his jacket back on, one sleeve at a time. "Preserve the access record," he said. Grant's gaze sharpened. "Why?" "Because you've challenged it." Vanessa appeared behind him. "We board in 20 minutes. Remove whoever this is." Elena's hands rested on the cart handle. Her knuckles had gone pale. Marcus touched the pocket where Lauren's note lay against his wallet, then looked at Elena once more. She understood. Without another word, Marcus turned toward the east side of the building, while the green approval glowed behind Mason's hand. The East Corridor smelled of wet cardboard and bleach. Marcus pushed through the service door at 4:02 p.m. Water soaked through his shoes before he reached the elevator. A fluorescent tube flickered overhead. A cartwheel squealed behind the loading bay. When the elevator opened into the terminal, Elena was already on her knees. Vanessa stood over her. "You missed it again." Elena rubbed a gray cloth across the white stone. "There is nothing here." "There was a mark." "Show me." Vanessa pointed near the lounge entrance. 3 passengers watched. One raised his phone, then lowered it under Grant's glance. "Do I need to explain your job?" Vanessa asked. Marcus stepped closer. "No, you need to show the stain." Vanessa turned. "You were told to use the service area." "I did." "Then keep moving." Marcus took a white napkin, crouched, and dragged it across the tile. The paper remained clean. The stone was cold beneath his fingers. "Nothing," he said. "She wiped it before you arrived." "Then the task is finished." "It is finished when I say it is." A spoon struck a cup. Every face shifted toward it, then away. Elena started to rise. Vanessa tapped the floor with her shoe. "I didn't tell you to stand." Marcus folded the clean napkin and placed it on the low table. "She has been on her knees long enough." Grant came from the jet bridge. "What is happening?" "Your contractor is interfering with staff discipline," Vanessa said. "I'm not his contractor," Marcus replied. Grant ignored him. "Elena, finish the floor." "It is clean." "Then clean it again." Her fingers slipped on the cloth as sharp citrus filled the air. Marcus looked at Grant. "Was a spill reported?" "No." "Was anyone endangered?" "No." "Then what are you correcting?" Grant stepped closer. "Her attitude." Elena stared into the bucket. Marcus held out the napkin. "This is your evidence." Vanessa snatched it, crushed it, and dropped it into the bin. "You want evidence? I'll document that you disrupted operations, challenged crew authority, and intimidated an employee." Elena looked up. He did not intimidate me. Vanessa's heel clicked against the stone as she turned. Be careful. The words were almost a whisper. Elena's shoulders drew inward, but she did not take them back. Mason arrived, carrying Marcus's leather bag by 2 fingers. Found this at the main entrance. You left it there, Marcus said. Mason set it beside the service door, apart from the other luggage. Temporary items stay out of the lounge. The baggage tag curled from the handle. Vanessa crossed her arms. You are done here. No, Marcus said. I'm boarding. Not after this. Grant's phone buzzed. He checked the screen, and his expression changed. Naomi stood behind the operations desk, watching him. What is it? Vanessa asked. Nothing. Marcus noticed the burgundy folder under Grant's arm and the corner of a signed form inside it. Then preserve that too, he said. Grant tightened his grip. The boarding display flashed. Flight 7. Final cabin check. Vanessa pointed at Marcus's bag. Move him to the rear compartment. This time, no one pretended not to hear. At 4:09 p.m., Mason carried Marcus's leather bag past the lounge as if its owner had left. Rear compartment, Vanessa said. Marcus followed. Rain hammered the jet bridge. Inside, air smelled of coffee, leather, and perfume. Mason set the bag beside the service door, apart from the other luggage. Its paper tag had begun to peel. That stays there. No, Marcus said. It stays with me. Grant blocked the aisle. You disrupted staff and delayed departure. We're offering you the support cabin. I was assigned the main cabin. There is no seat under your name. Show me the manifest. Vanessa stepped before the screen. Passengers don't inspect crew records. Read the 7th authorization aloud. Caleb leaned toward Grant. There are only 6 names. There were 7. Harper looked at the screen. A blank line sat beneath the last entry, the cursor blinking where text had been removed. Grant closed the window. System correction. Marcus pressed the tag down. It curled free again. Who made the correction? No one owes you an explanation. Someone changed a boarding record after my access was verified. Mason laughed. Or the system fixed a mistake. Then the audit log will agree. Cold air spilled from the vent. Harper rubbed her fingers against her skirt. Vanessa pointed rearward. Sit down or leave. I will sit in the seat attached to my authorization. Grant lowered his voice. You are close to the restricted contractor list. I'm not a contractor. You cannot prove otherwise. You have not tried to verify it. Mason's radio crackled. Naomi's voice came through beneath static. Operations to cabin director. Confirm before manifest lock. Grant took the radio. Manifest is correct. The masked authorization is still active. Clear it. I can't clear owner-level access without a second approver. Vanessa looked at him. Owner level? Grant pressed the button. Naomi, end this call. Only rain and the fan filled the cabin. Who is the second approver? Marcus asked. Grant switched off the radio. You are no longer boarding. Marcus checked the galley clock. 4:14. My daughter's ceremony begins at 5:30. That is not our concern, Vanessa said. No, your concern is the record you are changing. Harper glanced at the folder. Maybe we should wait for operations. Vanessa turned. Do you want to join him outside? Harper gripped the counter. Mason dragged Marcus's bag closer to the door. The tag peeled halfway off. Grant opened the incident form. Leave voluntarily, or I document refusal and removal. Marcus looked at the 5 signatures. You signed before this happened. No one answered. The galley printer clicked and produced a strip. Grant snatched it, but Harper saw the timestamp. 7:12? She whispered. That form was opened at 7:12 this morning. Grant folded the printout. Routine preparation. For him? Harper asked. For any disruption. Marcus held out his hand. Give me that record. You have no authority here. His watch ticked. The baggage tag detached and landed face down. Marcus bent to pick it up. Beside it, the manifest protruded from beneath the signed form. He reached toward it. Vanessa moved first. Vanessa caught his wrist before his fingers reached the manifest. Take your hand off the table. Marcus looked at her grip. Preserve the document. You don't give orders here, Grant said. I'm giving notice. Thunder rolled over the runway. Mason stood by the door, Caleb near the galley, Harper beside the counter. Vanessa released him and stepped over the folder. You have been warned. You changed the record. You are trespassing. My access cleared. Not anymore. Grant raised the incident form. Leave now, and this ends quietly. Marcus pointed to the blue ink above 5 signatures. That accusation was written before I entered the terminal. Caleb shifted. Maybe operations should review it. Grant kept his eyes on Marcus. You signed. I signed a blank page. Vanessa turned sharply. Enough. Marcus reached for the exposed corner of the manifest. Her palm struck his face. The sound was flat. A water glass trembled. Beyond the door, a luggage cart stopped squeaking. Marcus did not move. His silver watch kept ticking. Vanessa's breath came fast. Do not touch crew documents. Lauren's folded note slipped from his jacket. It landed near Mason's shoe, slid across the carpet, and opened along its worn crease. On this day, be there. Mason looked down. He did not bend. Harper covered her mouth. 2 passengers behind the glass froze, one holding a phone at chest height. Grant spoke first. Everyone saw him lunge. No, Harper said. Vanessa faced her. What? He reached for paper. He came at me. He didn't. Grant stepped closer. Think carefully. Cold air moved through the vent. Harper tucked back a strand of hair with shaking fingers. I saw his hand, she whispered. That is not what I asked, Grant said. Mason lifted his radio. Terminal control, aggressive intruder aboard Flight 7. Marcus crouched, picked up the note, and folded it along the old lines. State the time, he said. What? Mason asked. The time of your report. 4:31. And preserve the form's creation time. Vanessa laughed. You still think this is an audit? Grant slid the manifest into the burgundy folder. Marcus lowered his voice. Do not remove that. Security decides what matters. The log already did. The radio crackled. Confirm the individual's name. No one answered. Vanessa pressed the button. Unknown male contractor. From the jet bridge, Elena said. His name is Marcus Reed. Grant spun around. You were told to stay outside. Elena stood in the doorway, her damp uniform clinging at the knees. Her gaze moved from Marcus's cheek to his inside pocket. He did not touch her. Mason lowered the radio. You're risking your job. I did that when I told the truth. A printer woke behind the galley. Paper emerged with a rasp. Grant tore off the sheet, but Naomi appeared behind Elena holding a tablet. Don't destroy that. This is a restricted aircraft, Grant said. I know. A green banner glowed across Naomi's screen. The owner-level access code just locked every record you tried to change. Vanessa stared at Marcus. Owner level? He did not answer. The silver second hand crossed 12. On the walnut table, his black card remained face down. Step away from the aircraft, Grant said. 2 security officers appeared. Vanessa pointed at Marcus. He assaulted crew authority. Harper flinched. That isn't what happened. Grant turned on her. You're relieved until you remember what you saw. Marcus lifted his bag. Where are you taking me? Conference room, one officer said, until operations reviews this. Preserve the manifest, the form, and the access log. Grant smiled. You don't control this process. Marcus glanced at Naomi's tablet. Someone does. At 4:36 p.m., the glass conference room door closed behind him. The air conditioning was too cold, and the table smelled of disinfectant. Rain streamed across the runway windows. Mason tapped a panel outside. Marcus's phone buzzed. Access credential suspended. Your badge is inactive, Mason said. Who approved that? Security review. Name the approver. Mason walked away slowly. Elena stayed beside her cleaning cart. Grant spoke into her ear, then pointed toward the service hall. You should go, Marcus said. She shook her head. I have gone too many times. His phone rang. Simone. Dad, where are you? Behind her came applause, scraping chairs, and a microphone check. Still in Texas? You said you were boarding. There's been a delay. Her camera turned. A white card marked Dad rested on an empty first-row chair, the letters in blue ink. They call our names in 20 minutes. Can you make it? Marcus watched an amber service light smear across the rain. Not in time. What happened? He closed his hand around his silver watch until the edge pressed into his skin. Something I need to finish correctly. You always finish things correctly. Mom would have told you to leave it for tomorrow, Simone said. No, she would have told me not to make you pay for it. The phone carried distant laughter. I saved the seat anyway. Marcus looked at Lauren's folded note. Keep it there. For how long? Before he answered, the announcer called her group. Go, he said. They're waiting. So am I. The screen went dark. Outside, Vanessa signed a new statement while Grant dictated. Harper held the burgundy folder against her chest. Give me that, Grant said. No. You're still an employee. That form was signed at 7:12. You misunderstood the timestamp. Naomi entered. She didn't. Grant lowered his voice. Your temporary access ends today. Then it ends after the audit copy uploads. She placed her tablet on the windowsill. A progress bar showed 83%. Vanessa reached for it. Elena rolled her cart between them. A bottle struck the tray with a sharp clack. Move, Vanessa said. Elena gripped the handle. No. The upload reached 97%, then froze. Grant held up his phone. Network privileges revoked. Marcus's suspension notice vanished. A new message appeared. Foundation authorization detected. Manual verification required. Naomi looked through the glass. What code did you use to board? Marcus set his watch beside the dark phone. A C001. Naomi's fingers slipped from the tablet. Then she ran toward operations. Naomi reached operations at 4:39 p.m. and nearly collided with the door. Server fans hissed beneath the desks, and rain flashed white across the windows. She entered AC-001. The monitor rejected her password. Come on. She tried the owner verification route. A green line appeared. Founder authorization confirmed. Behind her, Grant entered and locked the door. Close that screen. This is Marcus Reed's code. You don't know that. It is tied to the founder record. Grant crossed the room. You searched restricted data after being told not to. You suspended an active owner credential. I corrected a manifest error. You changed it after he arrived. Grant reached for the keyboard. Naomi pulled it closer. Move, No. His jaw tightened. You are a trainee on a temporary contract. And the log is permanent. Not if the entry was corrupted. He opened the maintenance panel. A warning box filled the screen. Delete manual override history? Naomi struck the emergency archive key. What did you do? Saved the audit trail. You just ended your career. A knock sounded against the glass. Elena stood outside holding a framed photograph. Marcus was in the center, younger, sleeves rolled up beside the company's first aircraft. The brass plate read, Founder and Chief Executive Marcus Reed. Naomi opened the door. Grant blocked her. That display is old. Elena's silver braid was damp against her shoulder. The man is not. Return it. No. Naomi looked from the photograph to the green confirmation line. He came without an escort. He wanted to see what happened when no one expected him, Elena said. Grant laughed once. No one joined him. Then the screen went black. You cut the network, Naomi said. I protected company systems. A backup terminal chirped. The audit copy had transferred automatically to the independent safety server. Archive complete. Grant stared at it. Naomi lifted the desk phone. Who are you calling? Dana Lewis. You have no authority to contact the Chief Operating Officer. I have an owner-level security event and an attempted deletion. He reached for the receiver, but Elena rolled her cleaning cart between them. The wheel struck his shoe. Move this. Elena kept both hands on the handle. You told me to clean what was dirty. Naomi dialed. A woman answered on the second ring. Lewis. Ms. Lewis, this is Naomi Ortiz at West Haven. Founder code AC-001 is confirmed on Flight 7. His credential was suspended. There is a pre-signed incident report, and someone tried to delete the log. Silence lasted one breath. Is Marcus Reed there? Yes. Is he safe? He's locked in conference too. Grant reached for the phone. Naomi turned away. Dana's voice sharpened. Do not let anyone remove him, alter the manifest, or power down that server. I'm 6 minutes away. Thunder shook the window. The runway closes in 12, Naomi said. Then we have 12. Grant looked at the terminal clock, then at the archived record. From the hallway came Vanessa's voice demanding to know why the founder's photograph was missing from the wall. On Naomi's screen, the green line remained steady. At 4:45 p.m., the operations doors struck the wall. Dana Lewis entered with rain on her charcoal coat. The 51-year-old black operations director moved like a safety investigator. Andrew Kell, 43, followed with a leather case and red evidence seals. Who suspended AC-001? Dana asked. Grant stepped forward. There was a security concern. Name the approver. I made an operational judgment. You are not an approver. Server fans hissed. Naomi pointed to the archived log. The override, deletion attempt, and original manifest are preserved. Andrew set down his case. No one touches a terminal or removes paper. Vanessa appeared. This trainee disrupted a departure over a contractor. Dana looked toward Conference 2. That man is not a contractor. At 4:47, Dana unlocked the room. Marcus stood, slipped Lauren's note into his pocket, and fastened his watch. A pale mark crossed the skin beneath it. Are you all right? She asked. My daughter's ceremony has started. I meant, I know. Andrew handed him the black card recovered from the cabin. They returned to the jet. Rain drummed against the fuselage as thunder crossed the field. The service team waited near the galley. Harper held the burgundy folder. Caleb stared at the carpet. Mason gripped his radio. Vanessa folded her arms. He entered without identifying himself. Marcus placed the card face up on the walnut table. Marcus Reed, founder and chief executive. No one spoke. Vanessa looked at the worn jacket, then at the card. "You own this aircraft?" Mason asked. "I own the company operating it." Grant recovered first. "Then, this was a test. We were denied necessary information." "You were given valid access," Dana said. "You altered it," Naomi added. Marcus opened the folder. 5 signatures on a blank report, a false threat call, a changed manifest, an attempted deletion. Harper swallowed. "I said he wasn't aggressive." "After you signed." She lowered her eyes. Vanessa touched the table. "I made one mistake." "No. You made a series of decisions, and everyone here helped make them safe." Grant stepped closer. "You cannot remove an entire team 10 minutes before departure." Marcus checked the clock. 4:51. "I can." He turned to Andrew. "Terminate all 5 for cause. Preserve appeal rights. Suspend access now." Caleb's radio chirped and died. Mason's badge flashed red. Harper removed hers and placed it beside the folder. Vanessa did not move. "Your badge," Andrew said. She unpinned it with stiff fingers. Grant lowered his voice. "The pilots need us." "The pilots remain," Marcus said. "So do maintenance, dispatch, and ground safety. This concerns those who falsified the record." Donna checked her phone. "The replacement team cannot arrive before the storm closes the field." Runway lights vanished behind rain. A warning tone sounded. Field closure, 4:56 p.m. Marcus called Simone. The line opened to applause. "You made it?" she asked. He watched 5 badges beneath the black card. "No." Vanessa looked at his face instead of his clothes. Simone's name sounded over the phone. "Go," Marcus said. "I'm listening." The jet remained at the gate while his daughter crossed a stage 600 miles away. The first complaint appeared on the conference table at 8:10 the next morning. Then another. By noon, Rebecca Chen had arranged 18 in 2 rows. Rebecca, 45, wore thin black glasses and handled each page carefully. "These were closed without interviews," she said. "By whom?" Andrew asked. Rebecca tapped the same initials on 11 files. "Grant Mercer." Marcus wore a dark suit, but Lauren's note still rested in his pocket. "Read the reasons." Rebecca lifted the first page. "Insufficient detail." The second. "No corroborating witness." The third. "Complainant failed to respond." Elena sat against the wall, hands folded over her silver braid. "I responded 3 times." "Copies?" She opened a grocery envelope and removed printed emails, each creased down the middle. Only the paper moved. Thomas Bailey arrived at 12:27, carrying a driver's cap in both hands. He was 61 and broad-shouldered. "They sent me through cargo," he said. 16 years driving clients here, and suddenly my jacket was bad for photographs." "Who told you that?" Rebecca asked. "Vanessa." "Witnesses?" 3. "Did they support your complaint?" "One wrote that I misunderstood the boarding flow." Marcus asked, "Who?" Thomas pointed to Caleb's name. Rebecca opened Grant's archived directory. Hidden columns filled the monitor. Gold, blue, gray, black line. "What does black line mean?" Naomi stood behind her. "Service access. No lounge. Keep out of client photographs." "Based on what?" No one answered. Rebecca clicked appearance notes. Comments appeared. Worn shoes, cheap luggage, difficult accent, low influence. Elena's file carried 1 sentence in red. Reduce hours if she persists. Marcus placed both palms on the table. "How long?" 31 months, Naomi said. Cold air pushed across the pages. One complaint flipped face down, then another. Thomas turned the rest the same way. "That's how they kept us," he said. "Face down." Rebecca removed her glasses. "Why did no one bring this directly to executive leadership?" Elena answered without looking at Marcus. "We tried." Marcus sat back. "You're right." She looked up. "I built channels that led back to the people being reported," he said. "That failure is mine." Andrew shifted, but Marcus raised one finger. "No explanation." The interviews continued. A caterer described being searched twice after 4 years of deliveries. A junior dispatcher recalled Grant saying, "Protect the senior version." Harper admitted Vanessa rewrote incidents after witnesses signed. "Why did you sign?" Rebecca asked. Harper's thumbnail dug into her palm. "Because everyone else already had." "And yesterday?" "I saw his note on the carpet." Marcus did not move. "It said to be there," Harper continued. "Nobody picked it up." At 6:18 p.m., Rebecca stacked the files. 18 complaints lay face down across the table. "This was not one crew losing control," she said. "It was a system teaching them they could." Outside, cleaning carts rattled through the terminal. Marcus looked at Elena. "Tomorrow, everyone who filed one of these gets a seat here." Rebecca closed Grant's hidden directory. "And Grant gets one too," she said. "Across from them." At 9 a.m., Rebecca Chen switched on the recorder. The hearing room had no windows. Cold light flattened every face. 18 complaints sat in folders on one side. The blank incident form lay alone on the other. "Each of you may challenge the evidence," Rebecca said. Grant leaned back. "This has already been decided." "Your employment has," Andrew replied. "This hearing addresses responsibility." Her burgundy service pin remained fixed above her heart. Rebecca opened the first file. Thomas Bailey was directed through cargo despite valid passenger access. "He was a driver," Vanessa said. "He was also a ticketed passenger." Rebecca turned to Caleb. "You signed that he requested service access. Did you hear him ask?" "No." "Why sign?" "Grant said the senior account had to match." Harper admitted signing before reading. Mason said the system was wrong because Grant told him so. Grant called the labels service shorthand. Rebecca rotated the monitor. "Worn shoes, low influence, keep out of photographs." "What was the purpose?" "Presentation," Grant said. "Whose?" He looked toward Marcus. Marcus said nothing. Andrew played the archived audio. "Protect the senior version. We cannot have 5 accounts." Caleb stared down. "You told us it kept the company stable." "You were adults," Grant said. "You made choices." Harper twisted a tissue. "You threatened our schedules." Rebecca stopped the recording. "Ms. Hale, describe 431. Vanessa inhaled. He reached for restricted documents. "Did he reach for you?" "No." "Threaten you?" "No." "Then why did you strike him?" The ventilation hummed. Outside, a cart rolled over metal. Vanessa touched the pin. She missed the clasp twice. "I thought he was trying to make me look powerless," she said. "I spent years protecting important passengers. After a while, I treated everyone else like the inconvenience." She placed the pin beside the blank form. The metal wings clicked. Marcus set Lauren's folded note near the recorder. "What does that have to do with procedure?" Grant asked. "It was on the floor after she hit me." Vanessa lowered her eyes. "My daughter had one empty chair beside her," Marcus said. "I cannot recover that hour, and I am not here to exchange it for anyone else's humiliation." He turned the form so all 5 signatures faced upward. "A rule is not real because the owner enters the room. It is real when the cleaner, driver, trainee, and person in worn clothes can rely on it while the owner is nowhere nearby. Grant's jaw shifted. What do you want? The truth in complete sentences. For the next hour, they gave it. Caleb admitted changing a witness time. Mason admitted covering the green access light. Harper named 3 earlier incidents she failed to report. Vanessa confirmed Grant's instruction to protect the common version. Grant stayed silent until Rebecca closed the final folder. I told them to make it consistent. Consistent with what? Rebecca asked. His answer came so softly the recorder barely caught it. With whatever kept the complaint away from my office. Rebecca switched off the machine. The red light went dark, but Vanessa's service pin remained beside the blank page. At 10:14 a.m., Andrew Kell slid 5 access badges into a clear evidence pouch. Vanessa's service pin lay beside them. Rebecca read the findings. Vanessa Hale, physical misconduct, false reporting, retaliation. Grant Mercer, suppressed complaints, altered records, attempted deletion. Caleb Wynn, Harper Sloan, and Mason Trent, participation in a fabricated account. Grant folded his arms. You make it sound coordinated. It was, Rebecca said. The terminations stand, Andrew added. Appeals remain available. Access ends today. A red strip sealed the pouch. Naomi's badge remained on the table. Why is mine still active? She asked. You preserved evidence, Dana said. Witness protection applies. Naomi shook her head. Do not make me the brave one. No one moved. I searched the code, then stopped when Grant warned me. I watched Elena get threatened. I knew the blank forms were wrong. Her thumb rubbed the temporary label until one corner lifted. I acted only after the man in the room turned out to matter. Marcus sat at the end of the table. What do you need? The same training everyone else gets. No exemption because I made one correct call. Rebecca wrote it down. Granted. Elena moved Naomi's badge beside the pouch, not inside it. Andrew attached a green tab. Protected witness. Access preserved. At 1:40 p.m., the former crew returned company property. Mason surrendered his radio. Caleb placed 2 keys on the desk. Harper brought 3 notebooks filled with incidents she had never reported. Vanessa arrived last, carrying a white envelope. This is for Mr. Reed. Andrew took it. Any conditions? No. Marcus did not open it while she stood there. Vanessa glanced at the sealed pouch. I know an apology changes nothing. No, Marcus said. I wrote it anyway. He nodded once. Grant stopped at the doorway. You built a company where one concealed visit can end 5 careers. Marcus turned. 5 careers ended because 5 people believed concealment was ordinary. Grant searched Dana's face, then Rebecca's. The vent clicked on. Papers lifted at their corners. By late afternoon, the report was signed. It did not group the 5 employees together as if their choices were equal. Each page named the act, time, witness, and consequence. At 6:05 p.m., Marcus opened Vanessa's envelope in the empty operations room. She wrote that she had learned to measure people by who could damage her career, and that his silence had frightened her more than anger would have. Marcus folded the letter beneath Lauren's note. Dana watched from the doorway. Will you release it? No. It might help the public understand. It belongs to the person who wrote it. He closed the drawer. The 5 sealed badges caught the fluorescent light. Naomi's 6th badge rested beside them under its green tab. Dana set down a draft policy marked Second Approver Rule. Marcus read it. Not enough. What is missing? Through the glass, Elena, Thomas, and 3 cleaners waited for the evening bus beneath a buzzing light. The people who were never allowed into the room. Dana pulled out a chair. Then tomorrow, she said. We change who sits at the table. At 8:30 the next morning, Donna removed the nameplates from the conference table. Where do these go? Naomi asked. In a drawer, Marcus said. Today, people choose their seats. Elena entered with Thomas and contractors. She stopped near the wall, one hand around her canvas bag. Marcus pulled out the center chair. That one is yours. I clean this room. Then you know what happens here better than most. The microphone before her blinked green. Elena sat. The room smelled of coffee and toner. Rainwater ticked from Thomas's coat onto the tile. Dana projected the draft. No passenger may be removed after a valid scan without a second approval. Every override creates an external archive. Thomas raised a finger. Who chooses the second approver? Operations. That was Grant's department. Donna deleted the line. Independent safety desk, Naomi said. Rotating staff. Outside cabin service. Add it, Marcus said. A driver leaned forward. Complaints cannot return to the manager being accused. By noon, the page had doubled. They created a reporting line, automatic preservation of manifests and radio traffic, and a rule allowing any worker to pause service during degrading or unsafe conduct. Caleb's old phrase, protect the senior version, was replaced with, preserve each witness account. Elena read it twice. Will contractors be protected too? All workers, Marcus said. That is not the same answer. Dana changed workers to employees, contractors, vendors, drivers, cleaners, and trainees. At 2:15, training began inside the grounded jet. New crew wore visitor badges. No one knew who held the highest rank. An instructor pointed to Marcus in his Navy work jacket. This passenger has valid access, no visible name, and asks for the manifest. What do you do? Verify with operations, a trainee said. Before deciding he does not belong? Yes. Before touching his bag? Yes. Marcus asked. And if the system is unclear? Pause. Preserve the record. Ask a second person. From the rear galley, Elena pressed the stop button. You skipped the cleaner. The instructor checked her script. I'm sorry? You asked the passenger, the attendant, and operations, not the worker who saw him enter. She pointed to the empty witness chair. The instructor moved it into the aisle. Start again. At 5:40, Dana proposed the Reed standard. Marcus crossed out the title. No names. The board wants accountability attached to leadership. Then attach dates, audit results, and signatures. Not me. Naomi turned the page. What do we call it? Elena touched the microphone. The open door rule. Thomas smiled. After the door they kept closed? After the one nobody gets to close alone. The board approved it before sunset. Outside, runway lights burned through mist. The glass reflected cleaners, drivers, trainees, and executives around one table. Marcus gathered his papers. Simone had sent a message. First supervised corporate flight confirmed. 6 months from today. Below it was a photograph of his silver watch on a repair bench, its stopped second hand lifted from the face. He looked back at Elena. The microphone's green indicator glowed. Leave it, she said. Someone may need to speak. 6 months later, at 6:18 a.m., the hangar doors began to rise. Cold dawn air carried rain, fuel, and fresh coffee. Marcus stood beside the same silver jet in his Navy work jacket while technicians completed the final walk-around. Simone approached in a dark pilot's uniform, her hair pulled back beneath her cap. You're early, she said. I had practice. She opened her palm. His silver watch rested there, the scratched case polished but not replaced. The repair shop said the second hand was bent. Marcus fastened it around his wrist. It ticked once, then continued. On a workbench lay Lauren's folded note beside the black owner card. The lavender scent had faded, but the blue ink remained clear. At 7 o'clock, the company released its public report. It named the altered manifest, pre-signed form, attempted deletion, and closed complaint system. It listed consequences without spectacle. Vanessa Hale's termination had been upheld after appeal. She completed a workplace conduct program before seeking another position. Grant Mercer withdrew his appeal after the archive confirmed 31 months of suppressed complaints. Caleb Wynn and Mason Trent remained dismissed. Harper Sloan provided further testimony and entered retraining outside the company. Marcus refused every request for a staged confrontation. Inside the terminal, the open-door rule appeared beside each access station. A second officer had to approve removal after a valid scan. Complaints went directly to an independent safety office. Audio, manifests, and override histories were preserved automatically. At the quarterly review, Elena sat at the center of the oversight table. The green light on her microphone was on. Thomas Bailey had joined the Worker Council. Naomi Ortiz, no longer temporary, led audit training. She still wore the badge with the green witness tab. Complaint response time is down to 11 hours, Naomi said. 2 contractors still reported supervisors discouraging written statements. Dana Lewis turned to Elena. Recommendation: interview the contractors first. The supervisors can wait. Marcus signed the change. At 8:12, he crossed the terminal through the main entrance. The access panel glowed green, and the door opened before he reached it. A new concierge greeted him, then greeted the cleaner behind him with the same words. Elena rolled her cart through. "You could have worn the suit today," she said. "I still own the jacket." She looked at the watch. "And the time?" "Still moving." At 8:30, Simone began the briefing for her first supervised corporate route. Marcus took a seat in the main cabin and left the front chair for the evaluator. "You're not sitting up here?" she asked. "You're flying." She studied him, then closed the cockpit door halfway. The cabin carried no applause, only the click of switches and the low hum of power beneath the floor. Marcus placed Lauren's note inside the safety card pocket in front of him. Not hidden, not framed. Simply within reach. Outside, Elena and Naomi stood beyond the hangar line as the aircraft moved toward the runway. Thomas lifted 2 fingers from a waiting car. Simone's voice came through the speaker. "Cabin secure?" Marcus looked at the repaired watch, the empty aisle, and the open hangar behind them. "Secure." The jet rolled forward. The second hand did not stop. Have you ever watched someone be judged by their clothes, job, accent, or apparent status while everyone else stayed quiet? Share what happened in the comments, especially if one witness, worker, or small piece of evidence changed the outcome. Send this story to someone who believes dignity should never depend on power, and that justice matters most when it protects people who may never enter the executive room. Subscribe for more stories about fairness, quiet resilience, accountability, and the slow work of changing systems, not just punishing individuals. And before you leave, ask yourself one question. When the door is closed to someone who belongs inside, will you look away, or will you help open it?